It's United States versus Google in antitrust trial. It's US versus Google in antitrust trial. Justice Department says tech major pays $10 billion a year to maintain search dominance, popular because of quality, counters the company. Okay? Now take a look at this. Google has exploited its dominance of the internet search market to lock out competitors and smother innovation. The Department of Justice has made this charge on the company. This charge was made at the opening of the biggest US antitrust trial in a quarter of the century. This case is about the future of the internet and whether Google's search engine will ever face meaningful competition, said Kenneth Dinza, the Justice Department's lead litigator. And it's actually a big question, you know. It's actually a big question, and this case is about the future of the internet. Some quotations from the Google antitrust trial, Google versus United States over there. Kenneth Dinzer, who's the government lawyer and the lead litigator in this case. Nancy, the bigger question is, if these, you know, big tech companies like Google, Microsoft, and they have the wherewithal to suppress and smother innovation. We've seen Silicon Valley, a real famous show, you know, how people try to build a small company with the idea of a bigger shark coming in and consuming them. Because that's the goal. They don't want to give Google competition. They want to be good enough for Google to be acquired by Google. That's the dream right now. So we've seen that in various, you know, the Silicon Valley TV episode and, you know, various other companies, and that's the norm and trend as well. If they are smothering innovation by this way, isn't it bad? So when Kenneth Dinzer, the lead litigator, says that this is about the future of internet, maybe this is not just about US versus Google, this is about the globe versus Google.
So
and think about it, ladies and gentlemen, people who are with us, you know, on the stream, get down in the comment section, help us understand, is it just US versus Google? Tomorrow, Google could clamp down on your company as well. Tomorrow, Microsoft could come down on your company.
I mean, my opinion on this is that it's always going to be, the debate is always going to be there, because when we talk about Google now has a monopoly. So it's very hard for, you know, what is the next alternative that you have? If I delete Google from my phone right now, there is no alternative. I am an iPhone user and still I never got used to, you know, iMaps or, you know, Google, I don't use iCloud Drive. I have to use Google Drive because that is the way they have, you know, built that trust in the consumer that we feel secure.
Let me put it this way. Do you use Safari or do you use Google Chrome?
Oh, it's Chrome.
Because you use Google Chrome?
Yeah, I find it more convenient for I don't know what reasons, but I just can't use Safari. I have to download Google, and you know, this information leaking, the you know, breach of privacy of consumer, and you know, I think people in India or people in the world, they fail to understand. When you tick on the agreement, na, that I agree with the terms and condition of the privacy, that privacy they are not.
Nobody has the time to read it.
Yeah, they are clearly saying that they are not saying that we are not going to use your information. They are saying that we are going to use that information in a particular way. So you have to be careful. So they have always been transparent.
You have to be careful.
Yeah.
And of course, when we're doing news about, you know, a big tech like this, you have to be careful about what we end up saying as well.
Yeah.
Because
I don't want to
these
get
are the
in
stakes.
trouble.
These are the stakes. You know, I'll tell you, these are the stakes. Google pays more than $10 billion per year for these privileged positions. This is what Kenneth Dinzer has said. Google's contracts ensure that rivals cannot match the search quality, ad monetization, especially on mobile phones, which is where mostly Google is. Koi khabar hoti hai? What's the first thing you do? You quickly open your phone and you Google it up. Somebody asks you something, you say, "Arey bhai, Google kar lijiye." Why don't you Google it? Googling. What are you good at? I'm good at Googling. I mean, it's a skill set in today's time. It says, through this feedback loop, this wheel has been turning for more than 12 years. It always turns to Google's advantage. And if at all there is a story here, which I think we should talk about Nipah virus. I think we should definitely talk about what's going on in the Supreme Court. I think we should definitely talk about Google as well. If Google is in fact spending $10 billion a year just to make sure that it stays in that privileged position and is clamping down on all the other competition, how is that good for the future of the internet? Isn't that questioned by the legal prosecutor, the lead litigator?
Yeah.
Isn't that question valid?
It is valid, of course, because when we talk about the world economy, when we talk about, Google is just not restricted to US. The government of the country has always been against this big techs, because they cannot come under the government's rule. So people see, we can get information in two ways, either from private entity like Google, or with public information that we have to get by the government. So as normal citizen of the country, we tend to trust Google more, because we think, no, they are not going to get influenced by the government. So the government is now very threatened by these entities, because they are creating a monopoly, they are influencing people, because in the end, algorithm is very important part of our daily life.
Right.
If if you live in a particular area where being a radical Hindu is an ideology, there is a good chance that you will get articles, your algorithm will set in a way that you will get articles like that only. So this information that will be get feeded into your mind.
Nancy, your phone might be listening to you right now as
yeah,
well.
It
Maybe
does.
when you open up, you get some advertisements according to what you've just been
There
talking
have been
about.
so much instances when I'm talking about I want to buy shoes, and the next advertisement that I'm seeing on my phone is of a shoe.
Yeah.
So you like it or not,
Google
the
is
phone
listening.
is listening
One
to
more
you.
quotation that I'm reading from the article here. It says, Dinser said that more searches Google processes, the more data it collects.
Yeah.
Data that can be used to improve future searches and give it an even bigger advantage over its rivals. User data is the oxygen for a search engine.
Yeah, that is what I am talking about. You have to read the privacy. They are clearly stating that we are going to use the data that you are going to provide us. We are going to use it to make your user interference experience better, but that information can go anywhere.
According to him, he says that Google search and ad products are better than its rivals can ever hope to be.
True.
He goes on to say that Google pays so much for its search engine to be the default option on products from Apple and other companies. Dinser said that Google began weaponizing defaults more than 15 years ago and cited an internal Google document calling its arrangement as Achilles' heel for rival search engines offered by Yahoo and MSN. I mean, Bing, Yahoo, MSN, people don't even go to these anymore. You don't even trust, a Yahoo search page.
Yeah, true.
Will you trust a Yahoo search page?
I would never. I don't trust Safari. I download Google Chrome because I feel like this is the most convenient, and this is the place where I'll get the most relevant information out.